Hey everyone, welcome to the Captain's Chat. This is episode 3 of season 2. Really excited for my buddy Kevin Hamilton to join me today. Kevin was a member of Team USA at the ripe old age of 19. He has a bright future ahead of him. He's a college athlete as well that played at University of Illinois for wheelchair basketball for some time. So definitely an athlete. The only thing I don't like about him is he's a Sox fan. And we'll talk about that a little bit, which I mean, we can let go. One of my best friends in life is a Sox fan as well. So good old Kyle Schmidt living over there in Arlington, living in Cubs country, but that's another story. But let's get Kevin on. Let's have a great day. As always, send us your comments, questions, concerns, all that good stuff, and we'll get started. Kevin, what up, dude? What's going on, man?
The White Sox are the team of the future, man. Don't sleep on them.
They are built for success right now, and for the next 5 years. They're like the Cubs back in 2015.
Honestly, yeah, that's a perfect.
They are primed, and then they stole our TV announcer too, Len Casper. He's doing radio for him now. Kind of crazy, but anyways, first things first, up off the top of the line here. What have you been up to, man? I haven't got to talk to you very much in the last months, probably half a year now, because we've been just, I don't know, trying to keep the family alive, staying afloat, all that good stuff. But how have you been, dude? How's life been treating you?
Do you know what? Life could have been better this, during the year 2020. But I've tried to do my best, just make sure I don't flunk out of school, make sure I'm staying fit, just all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Just doing my best to occupy my time, whether it's sports or video games or whatever.
What video games been mastering lately? What's the
played
deal?
a lot of COD Warzone and a lot of Smash Bros. So both those are.
Are you smashing the bros on Nintendo Switch?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Like my kids, they got one for Christmas, and so they let me play it sometimes with the Mario Kart. They have Smash Bros too, but they are infatuated with the Mario Kart, and with Fortnite is the big one because they're
Fortnite, dude, Fortnite is like that was like freshman year of college.
Yeah. So I know nothing about this stuff, but it's fun to play Mario Kart with them and have a good time. But
Mario Kart's fun.
Yeah. So you've been doing the video games, you've been doing the school, and it's been all online. I'm assuming it's with the whole thing. Or
you know what? Illinois is amazing in the sense that you kind of get the choice to go in or out. Every student at Illinois gets tested twice a week.
Okay.
If you go in person, and I've stayed online just because I'm compromised, so I don't even want to risk it, even if it is pretty much safer than most institutions or any company in the world.
Yeah.
But they're doing an amazing job actually with that.
Oh, that's great to hear.
But yeah, it's been all online, and that's been it's been a weird transition because like some classes are like almost easier online, and some are harder because some classes they'll like make the test harder, but they'll also make it open note, and it's like I'm a good note taker, so it's like those tests will be a breeze. But then other classes, it's like it's not necessarily that the tests are. It's just harder to learn with the teacher being online without concrete like in student examples, especially when I took Spanish last semester, and it just I don't know, just conversing in Spanish over Zoom is just it's not fun.
What's the and maybe someone in the comments can tell me too, but like because I feel like the word or the line of this entire pandemic and through 2020 and then now 2021 is you're on mute. Like, hey dude, you're on mute. What's the Spanish version of like, hey bro, you're on mute?
Oh no, they just tell you in English that you're on mute. They just tell you in English. It was actually funny. So they have like a 15-minute oral exam at the end.
Okay.
And you're like with a group of other people, and you're like you converse about whatever topic they throw at you. And I just started talking for like a minute, and they're like, and everyone's like, "Bro, you're on mute." Like they just said that straight up. So They didn't even do the Spanish version. They're just like, get off mute.
It's funny. They just break the language barrier right there and say, you know what? Just hey, dude. Some people try to do this. It's just better to be like, hey, bro, you're on mute. Like, don't let them go any farther at all. What interesting question. And I think my last year in my master's program was 2015. So it's been a little while since I've been in school. What do you think on the open note? Like, I always thought that open notes, and if you take really good notes and you're all that good stuff, like I always thought that open notes I'd learn more because I wasn't worried about like flunking or passing a test. In a way, what do you think? What's your thoughts?
I totally agree with that. And plus, with open notes, like you're almost you have like almost like an open, like it's a huge catalog of just resources of your own work and like what you found. And yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. In the real world, we're not gonna be like, okay, you must remember this in this life or death situation.
Yeah. Sure. No. Hey, so Chad's calling you out though. Like you didn't tell us what it was in Spanish. Do you know what it is in Spanish?
No idea.
That's what I'm talking about. Kevin is always going to give you the 100% truth. Chad, he doesn't know. Chad, do you know? Quit being a bully. Let's get to know you a little bit. Kelly Melton, Chuck's lovely wife.
I'm it's like college. It's like I'm going into like this. I don't know. It's like it's not beginner level because I'm a little past that because I had 2 years of prior experience.
I think she's asking what level of injury you are, like what your disability is. Yeah, we haven't gotten that, and we're kind of breaking here, but we're just having a conversation. It's all good. So what level? Like what level of? Obviously, you're not a high level Spanish speaker because you don't know what that line is. So we've confirmed that. I mean, I'm not going to tell your teacher. She might watch this. Who knows? Or him. But we'll just we'll stop talking about Spanish since you don't know what it is. But what level of disability are you?
Incomplete C7.
Incomplete C7, and you are a class.
3.
What's your class? 3.0. Incomplete C6 and 7 class 3.0. Yeah, Chad. He did not take a Spanish. Chad didn't take a Spanish class in college, and he still doesn't know that. Hey, he's learning, Chad. Leave him alone. So yeah. So do you support? Oh, that's an interesting question. Do you support an MLR team, a Major League Rugby team? I'm assuming. Is that what that means?
Oh, you know what? No, if that's what it means, no. But I've actually I do like watching rugby. You know, as we've gotten more into wheelchair rugby, I've actually sat down with my parents and we've watched a little bit of 7-7 other rugby stuff. So
it's if you ever go to Australia, and turn on the TV there, you have no choice. It's you're either watching some form of of rugby with the different rules, or you're watching cricket, which no one wants to, like. I'm sorry, I mean I don't want to watch that. You have like 3 days to watch it too because it lasts that long. But then or Australian football rules. So you have no choice. Yeah, we got Rooster, but ooh, a little New York action. Maybe Lee's a fan of those guys. I don't know. So let's dive a little bit more and let's back up for a second here. Before I asked you kind of about like your injury and all this good stuff, but like did you have any crazy quarantine goals pop up? I keep asking this question because I feel like a lot of people are like, hey, I wrote a book, ran a marathon. For me, I'm like, hey, I kept my kids alive. And we're still like the different levels. But anything pop up for you?
you know, I actually talked to you about this early in quarantine, like because I was struggling. I had another health thing pop up, and I was just like, you know, I could do more, and it helped me realize, like, dude, I just got to stay healthy and stay in shape, and I'm fine. Like, stay on top of everything. But I don't necessarily have to like be a Renaissance man to be great. I can be great and just keep doing what I'm doing at a consistent level.
Yeah,
and I'm fine with what I achieve.
yeah. Dude, that's great advice because you're talking about just the foundation aspect of like, all right, I'm not doing all this crazy stuff, but I'm keeping my self-care up. I'm being kind to myself, showing myself great. Like that's great stuff. And I mean, obviously the lettuce game on top of your head there looks fantastic.
No,
I mean, it looks good, dude.
It's just because it's combed. It could look better.
Yeah, it tamed a little bit. Did you grow it out quite a bit?
Dude,
Leave for debt. Leave for debt. I don't know if you've seen him lately. Why don't you text Lee and ask him what he looks like? He looks like he's trying out for the Tom Hanks movie where he's stuck on the island with the Wilson thing. Like that's what he looked like. I mean, he looks great though. He looks very manly. Yeah.
No, there's you know what? I had really, really long hair and like didn't shave for like a long time, and I want to say it was around like I don't know October, and it is an absolutely disgusting, morbid photo of me, and I do not ever want to go back to that again. But it was kind of fun to try it out.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, why not try things out? All right, so tell us a little bit about like what's the background, man? I mean, you're a young dude, you're going to school. How did you acquire your disability?
So when I was 1.5, a virus didn't attack my spine. My immune system actually attacked my spine, believing a virus was there. So tried to help me, but it didn't get that. So I've been in a wheelchair like my whole life. Um, uh, I when I was younger, I actually had a lot more whatchamacallit, ambular function, and then that kind of died down the moment I want to say in like 7th grade.
Does that mean like you walk around more type of thing and like
Yeah, when I was younger, I
okay.
used to walk around everywhere, but
Yep.
ever since like sometime in middle school, like 2 years ago, I yeah just stopped doing that because I
So
just couldn't do it.
you started using a wheelchair in middle school?
Yeah.
How was that for you, man? I mean, that's a tough time for anyone. And now you're put in this wheelchair in middle school and not just put in this wheelchair, but like you're starting to use that as a device. Um, was that tough or like how was that
You know
for you?
what? It was a little tough at first, but like I always had a wheelchair, if that makes any sense. I just almost never used it
Okay.
before then. So it was like it's not like at the very least I had experience with it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was a little bit of a tough transition, but then it got so much easier when I realized, oh wait, I'm putting like zero effort into actually like walking or like I don't have to do that anymore. I can just
Yeah.
use my arms, which have all I mean, they were all even before I was using wheelchair, I had some major guns, so guns up
Yeah. I
there.
mean,
So
exactly.
it was always my strong suit. It was always my strong suit. So honestly, I mean I love the transition. It's so easy. It's so much easier now.
Yeah. So a lot of people say like trying to in a sense struggling around to prove a point compared to like hey I'm going to be nice to my body and this is it's just way more convenient for getting around doing everything that I need to do and all that stuff but then if I need to get something high for like a crippled dude like Joe then you can jump out your chair and do it and be good to go. When did you get involved with adaptive sports? Was that early on?
So initially got involved in basketball I want to in kindergarten or first grade, something like that. And I quit a year after because I couldn't even touch an 8-foot hoop, and I was just so ashamed of myself. I'm like, I was because like I was looking up to Mike Jordan, Mike Jordan. So it's like, if you can't score,
Yeah,
well,
the best ever, Michael
yeah,
Jordan.
the goat.
Yeah, the GOAT. Yep.
Don't argue otherwise. It's not debatable.
It's not debatable. Aoki, Cone, Newbie.
But then and I rejoined in 5th grade, and I loved basketball when I rejoined, and I kind of I progressed in my skill throughout the years. I still couldn't shoot for my life. I've never been able to shoot a basketball, but I kind of became like that Draymond Green type, where I'm like kind of just doing a little bit of everything, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
From a well, I just watched this video maybe a couple weeks ago because I was like throwing videos and pictures on my desktop and to get them off my phone and came across some film from camp in Colorado Springs, and we were playing 3-on-3 basketball. And it was me, Kevin, and I think, was it Ray? And so Ray and Kevin were out of their chairs versus Chuck, Newbie, and Alex. And Chuck and Alex were out of their chairs. And so it was, I mean, it was, you didn't have a good showing.
Yeah,
I expected you to be my Draymond, like, but maybe I needed to. The next time, you know what? We'll put you in a different position. Maybe give you a basketball chair, and then I think it's on from there.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I was looking like a Scalabrini out there, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, some of the pick and rolls were just, but it was all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if Alex got in your head because he can do that. Christine saying we love you, Kevin. And so it can't came. That's true, man. We need if you want to be Draymond, like you can't just you got to do the full thing. You're one of the nicest people I know, and you haven't gotten teed up on the regular. That's true. Alex, on the other hand, he's like Draymond mixed with who's that dude from Dallas? Alex, who's that dude from Dallas? He just left. Is it Berea? That's like a mix. Yeah. That's the mix with him. Because he's got the point skills, but he's been known to talk. He's been known to talk just a little bit.
No,
I don't know. He's been known to talk. Yeah, yeah, JJ Alex, for sure. So you got involved with adaptive sports, and basketball was the thing. Were there other sports that you did? Did you try a bunch of sports?
I mean,
was this in Chicago or where was this?
It was in like the south suburbs of Chicago, at a place called LWSRA, Lincoln Way Special Recreation Association. So they really
shout out,
yeah, they helped me a ton. I tried hockey once, and I couldn't keep the gloves on me, and yeah, that's just not fun. And actually, no, that's not true. It's fun. I just could never do it. And wheelchair softball to me was always really boring. I tried that too, and that was just it's just not baseball.
Right. Yeah. I tried playing that. It wasn't bad. It was a good rec sport.
Yeah, it's a good rec sport.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Any wheelchair softball players that are diehard, do not hurt me. I think the sport's great, but just not for me. When was it? And I think I remember. Shout out to the RIC Bears. When was it that you started playing wheelchair rugby?
Yeah, so it was actually at that camp. I think you and Aoki hosted that camp. It was at Moraine Valley, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah. Was it in that? It was in that basketball, that college gym, that like community college gym or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful gym. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about an hour from my house, but
okay.
Yeah, no, it was a really good facility, but that was like my first ever rugby. Like that camp was the first time I ever played rugby. I remember
that was the first time. Okay.
Yeah, that was the first time.
I remember that.
I had been previously exposed to it, not through Murder Ball. I heard of Murder Ball, but I was never really interested in watching. It's like, okay, I'd rather just try it out for myself. Actually, my basketball coaches kind of always wanted to pave the way for me to rugby eventually. They were always hyping me up like, hey, you're going to be a great rugby player. But for now, you're playing basketball with us. So, because for some reason, I think they made the incorrect assumption that I couldn't play when I was 12 or something.
I think that happens with a lot of those disabilities that they're kind of like, oh, well, he's playing basketball, so he can't play rugby. And, I think Ray had that happen to him for a while. He was talking to me the other day about that, Ray Henniger. And someone said, hey, dude, you're not going to qualify. So he's like, all right, well, I'm not going to play then. And then it took him a while. But yeah, dude, you took off, man. And you started playing some D3 level, D2 level rugby. And it was pretty cool to see. Yeah. You and I mean, the whole thing was really cool. And I always loved going up and doing the clinics. But How was that for you? Like I mean, when did you kind of fall in love with the sport to the point of like, I mean, at that point you're doing rugby and then you started going to school, right? And played college basketball. What was that all about? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, can you repeat that? Actually, I
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. So I guess just like tell me the kind of story of like, you're playing basketball, but then you started playing rugby. You're still playing basketball and going to college, but when was it that you kind of fell in love with rugby?
uh so I think I actually started falling in love with rugby my freshman year of college. Every night before, I had to wake up at like whatever 5:30 for basketball practice, but every night before I'd go to bed, I'd try and watch like a half an hour of rugby film to not only like to get myself better because I couldn't, I was just flying in for tournaments at that point, but and they were nice, and the basketball coach, my old college, was really helped me. He let me keep my rugby chair there, so I could get some pushes in if I wanted to.
Okay.
But yeah, I pretty much just learning everything by watching film and being like, oh, this is what you do at the high level. I should be doing this instead of this dumb thing, and then just kind of keep repeating that process. Not every night, but most nights. And I
Yeah.
think that's when I really started to fall in love because I started to see all the variety of offensive and defensive options that like we could take, like each team could take. So, uh, yeah, and I guess being away from it and not practicing it, like doing my double practices with the Bears, I think I missed that a lot. So I think that also could have been part of it, just being away from it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good group there. You got Kat and of course Coach um, Klinowski and and Chris Hall when you guys were up there together and Mr. Murderball.
Mr. Murderball.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Um, man. So like, do you think that you've hit your target? I want to talk a little bit about like your experience with USA WR, being a teammate and getting to see that. And I think, man, like it all happened so fast from the time you're like, hey, I'm falling in love with rugby and starting to play a little bit with Chicago. And um, what was that like going to tryouts, all that good stuff?
So going tryouts is funny because it was like I came in thinking, okay, do you know what? I don't want to be first cut. I don't want to be second cut. If I get cut last day, that's fine. That means I'm a top 20 athlete in the U.S. Whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, but ultimately, I should try. I mean, I'm gonna go out and bust my tail, try and make this team. There's no reason why I shouldn't. Uh, and that I mean, I think I had a really good tryouts. I was really proud of what I did, and I'm still very proud of what I did. Uh, and I'm pretty proud of the player I've become. I've just become a lot more cerebral than I used to be. I think I used to go a lot more off game sense, and obviously, it's good. It's harder to be cerebral when you're flying at me, probably knocking me over, or someone like Aoki or just anyone else there. I mean, but it was cool because I could kind of when I was on USA, it was like I was taking a little bit each session and kind of adding it to my game maybe the next day.
Yeah.
And so like just taking that bit by bit was really awesome. And obviously not to knock on Chicago. I love Chicago, but it is a completely different game at that top level than at D2 at that D2 level.
Gary, thank you. Yeah, of course. I mean, of course, Kevin is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still youthful.
No, man, it's really been cool to see, and I think for you, the sky's the limit, and your career is far from over. That's for sure. Kind of the future, and just excited to see where that takes you. Um, I have a little bit of a game for us here that I did not tell you about. But since you're a big White Sox fan,
Oh boy.
um, and they last won the World Series in 2005. And you were
I
how
think
old?
I think
How old?
I was 6.
You were
I
6
think
years
I'm
old.
6, soon to be turning 7.
You were born in
1998.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Um, 2005. You're 6, maybe 7 years old. Do you remember this at all?
No, not really.
Do you remember any of the players?
I mean, John Garland, Freddie Garcia, Jose Contreras, Mark Burley, Paul Canerco, Jermaine Dye, Scott Pasednik, Tadahito Gucci. There's a lot more, but those, I mean,
Wow, that's really good
dude,
for being 6.
I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of pathetic. I used to have like an encyclopedic knowledge of baseball when I was like 8. Like you could tell me anything and I would probably know it.
What about like the current team?
The just like the players, like
Yeah,
I don't want to name off all the current players, but I mean,
you
you
could do
really
it.
want
No, I don't want you to if
six.
you don't want to.
There. Let's
Could you
put it
do
this
it?
way: we got a bunch of really good young guys and a bunch of older, experienced dudes, and it's it's exciting to have like a rotation of Giolito, Keuchel, and Lynn. Just, I mean, because our hitting we were a top 5 hitting team in baseball last year, and
Yeah.
Giolito and Keuchel were great and all, but Rick Renneria couldn't manage a bullpen, so that kind of faltered us. So just to have one of the best bullpens, one of the best rotations, and one of the best hitting teams, it's exciting. There's no reason why we couldn't make a World Series appearance.
Is this true? Is this a true statement right here?
Do you know what? That might be true. I don't really remember, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Is Ian? Who's Ian?
Ian's my brother.
Okay. Is he
So
speaking the truth here? Maybe he's a little older.
that's the
I'm
thing.
assuming.
I don't remember that time. He probably has, just because I was 6. So it's like
Yeah.
he has memory.
You got any good brother stories?
Not for this podcast.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, let's keep it. Yeah. I had Mark on last week. It was a fantastic guest. But we'll keep it Disney.
Yeah.
We ran out of that. Anyway, yeah, so White Sox, you named quite a few. Like I've had some people on that are fans of their teams that did not name that many. Like a certain Seahawks fan up in the Northwestern that didn't do very well. But yeah, I mean, some of us are fans and some of us are fans. I mean, that's the deal. Eric Newby says I'm old, which is 100% true.
I mean, Eric. So
yeah. Did you say Eric's old?
yeah, I said I should. I don't know why I said Eric. He's gonna kill me for that one.
Yeah. First of all, you called him Eric. Second of all, you called him old. Let's see what he says now. Kelly wants to know what are your weaknesses on the rugby court?
I am slow. I am slow for a 3-0. And maybe it's not as prevalent in D2, or honestly even a D1 setting it probably wouldn't be as prevalent. But at an international setting it's totally noticeable. And then I also just haven't played the game crazy a long time. Actually, wow, have I played I guess I've played like 5 years now. But I'm also a little inexperienced in some of the more minute like situations that you might not see all the time, or just like running from 130 to 50 and calling stuff like that. So I would just say lack of experience and athleticism are my main 2 weaknesses. Uh, and then there's other stuff like just making sure my chair is like one with me. I've been doing a better job of that lately. Like actually in quarantine, I felt like I've done a really good job with that than before, and also like stuff like equipment. But even then, I still gotta say it's a weakness because I haven't been able to test it out against anyone else. So,
well, weaknesses. Okay, what do you think your strengths are? Talk yourself up a little bit.
No, I've always, and I've said this because I've had to become more cerebral, but I've always had a pretty good game sense of just court awareness of where people are on the court.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that's kind of carried me, kind of understanding, okay, I know what to do at the next level, if I got to do this same scenario, it's just going to be a little faster.
Yeah.
I think I'm, you know what? it wasn't actually. I think, ironically, when I was with USA, it was this. I was not good at all at this, but I actually have always been a pretty good passer. I think my year on USA was my worst year of passing a rugby ball, which was weird. But I feel like I've always been a pretty good passer.
Yeah.
I'm also really good in the little like T defense where I'm kind of just able to stuff someone or I know where they're going to turn, so I got them locked down before they even know they're locked down because it's like they want to turn this way and it's like, oh no, sorry, you're not going anywhere. And then Mr. I don't know, Lee Fredette's coming right behind you, you're trapped. Call timeout.
Yeah. Dude, well, let me stop you there though. Like I mean, we're always our worst critic
Yeah.
when it comes to, criticizing ourselves. And I think it makes a good athlete for a certain extent, but at the same time, like, being owning who you are, and you are a good passer, and you are a good, and you cut very well. You're sneakily athletic, and you know
Oh,
that.
yeah. Oh my
You are, yeah, yeah. There's a story of Kevin. So Kevin, it's his first year on the team, and we're playing at Lakeshore for the Four Nations against the three other best teams in the world. Besides, Canada wasn't there, but it was Australia and GB and Japan. And Kevin gets some time, and he's playing against two-time gold medal champions in Australia, and you're holding your own, playing high. I mean, it was amazing to see, really cool to see. Yeah. So I think sometimes we're our own worst critics, but at the same time, owning those like triumphs, man. And I'm definitely seeing that you're really coachable and you learn fast and you're confident. And it's like, take that and be ready to rock and roll when your time comes again, man.
This in that tournament, whatchamacallit, there was actually it wasn't Australia. I always remember the GB game because my first ever international goal I scored backwards because Phipps pushed me from like the 3-point line into the goal line. And that game sucked because we got blown out. But that like goal in itself was a nice feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Kelly has another great question. Kelly, thanks so much for the questions. Who's your rugby idol? Who are you looking to become? What are you trying to mold yourself into? Obviously, you got the hair, you got the muscles. Now, what are you molding yourself into as far as rugby goes?
Rugby Idol, that's a tough one because I've always kind of looked up to a lot of people, you being one of them. The 315s.
I paid him to say that. I paid him to say that.
Adam, Talbot, and O'Neill. I always love watching the 15s. Newbie, yeah, you're another one. Aoki, but I don't know. I don't know if I have one concrete one because I kind of like to look at how everyone plays the game a little differently. Like, yes, there's the general concepts of you need to do this in this scenario because it's the perfect scenario, but everyone does have a little bit of personality in what they do on the court. And and obviously I got to inject my own personality into that itself. But I like to see what other people do and be like, oh, he does this particular thing in this situation really well. So I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, something I learned from you, and you're just an easy one to pull out because you're right here. But something I really learned from you was just patience in the half court. Just like, get the ball, breathe. You got 30 seconds to score. You'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's true, and I think it's to an extent like looking through what your strengths and God-given gifts are, and then kind of owning that. Like, I'm never gonna be able to reach like newbie successfully. It's just like I don't, it's not my game. Or going like, how can I use my height and strength to my advantage? Where it's like someone that's shorter is going to be like, I'm not going to be the tall guy. Like, it's just not going to happen. Yeah, so I think it's kind of owning some of that. But another great question: any advice for teams struggling to retain players or motivating other players? I'm assuming on the club level.
So I don't got anything for retaining players. I mean, I I'm really just kind of starting to go into my own as a leader for that stuff. So I'm not 100% great at that, but in terms of motivating other players, you gotta. This has really interested me for a long time in motivating others. Everyone's kind of a little different. Some people need more pushback. Some people you need to be more in your face and be like, "Hey, you screwed up here. Don't do this." Um, but some while there's others are just like, "Don't worry, I know you got the next one. You're fine."
Yeah.
Everyone has their own little different motivations based on who they are as people. For example, I'm the type of guy where it's like, please just trust me to do the right thing next play. I will. I know where I screwed up. But I know others, it's like they might not see it. So you just like, hey, you got to sit them down, like for like 30 seconds, and be like, do this, do this, do this. You're good. Get in their face a little, maybe yell, but ultimately they're gonna learn. Uh, and the way, like, people are just so wired so differently. I'm really glad. I can't see who said that sadly anymore, but that's a really good question.
Christopher Pruitt. Yeah, thanks for your question, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's a great question. Like it's tough too, and I think the biggest thing is one of the biggest things I think for at least on the national team that we preach a lot is culture. And I think club teams is important too, because at the end of the day, like for recreational rugby, it's a support group. It's one of the coolest support groups because you get to go around smashing each other, but you're there to hopefully make each other better, figure out some things in life. Some people are fresh out of rehab. Some people didn't play a sport for the first 10 years of their acquired disability life type of stuff, and they're just trying to figure something out and using it as a springboard into something else. And so it's having a cool, safe environment to play some rugby, but also learn some skills in everyday life. A couple more questions here for you, man. You've been super insightful. Really appreciate it. I wanted to talk a little bit about the I word. I've been asking people this because it's just like it's something that I'm curious about. The inspirational I word that gets thrown around to us a lot here in the disabled community. We get the oh, you're so inspiring, and you, like all you did was maybe take the trash out, or they saw you put your shoes on or something like that. But what truly inspires you from your point of view, from your worldview? What's inspiring to Kevin Hamilton?
I'm glad you asked this question because I actually kind of had an epiphany today about this. I think the reason people go through this, like they look at us, is because when I look to inspire myself, I usually see people overcoming a challenge, and it could be it could be something very minuscule, or it could be something great, but because a challenge is a challenge. But and they could also, and they're usually struggling through it. Uh, I I mean, I think it's pretty inspiring just to see. I don't know, someone. Let's say it's a D3 rugby team and they're just brand new and they haven't gotten a win and they don't win for like 5 years and then they do get a win. Something like that, to see them work hard just to get a win, is inspiring. And I think at the core of it is struggle. People look at the chair or look at whatever other type of disability thing you have, and they see struggle, and naturally they call you inspiring because you're moving through the struggle. And it's it's like we already know that we're not struggling, which is why we get so annoyed by this. Because we know that we are very okay with our current situation when we do go to the grocery store or do pump gas, but they don't know. They genuinely do not know. And while it does get very annoying, it I kind of get it. Like they think they truly do think we are struggling. And some people, they got to realize that, hey, all disabilities are different, blah blah blah. We're probably, some people are in far different development stages. Like, this is completely
Yeah,
normal, but they probably, I don't know, they probably rarely see disabled people and just don't get to experience that. So it's annoying, but like, I think the struggle is the root of the issue.
yeah, yeah. No, totally. Yeah, it's we can go down past there, but I definitely think it's a chance for education, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a chance to have a conversation with someone. Um, but yeah, couple more questions. What Sebastian, what's up, man? Talks about what are you doing for training now?
So
What do you?
here, hold on. I'm gonna lift it up, but so I'm just trying to. I got a nice little mat with just some minor weights, but I'm
Oh,
able to
nice. Where
really.
is this at your house? What is this? Is this in the
Yeah,
bedroom?
this is my mom's office.
It's training room slash office slash. Yeah, nice. So you got a little
Yeah,
mat.
another
Okay.
room. We put it in here, but there's there's some weights. There's arm. There's just a bunch of arm stuff, and then I do sit ups, push ups, double.
Sebastian, he does about 250 curls a day with his
Okay, no,
bicep.
no. Um, and I also there's actually Chris Hull recommended me this, and it was really good for me. But I have an arm bike in the other room that I bought online for like $50, but because so
You
I
just
don't
put it
know.
on the table, right?
Yeah, Sebastian's a
Yeah.
dentist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how cold it is there, but in Illinois right now it is freezing, and I'm not going outside. So I'm just trying to crank out as many arm miles of my arm bike and do what I can do
Yeah.
with it, or go like, or more or less go through hard intervals and not go for more like strength
You
and
should do
power.
the you should
Longevity.
do that Nordic skiing thing where they ski, the cross country skiing, and you sit in the chair and ski.
Oh yeah, mountain is one of those things, right?
I don't know. Does Melton? Kelly, does he have that? I don't know. I've never done it. I know Seth McBride has done it. He like had his dad build him one. It was pretty cool. All right. So what is your ultimate goal within the sport of wheelchair rugby?
I
Ultimate
mean,
goal.
I don't see why I can't become a top 5 player in the world or even the best. I
That's what I'm talking about right there,
don't
dude. I
see
love
why
it.
I can't become a super good player, and I don't see why I can't win a gold medal or maybe even multiple gold medals. I just don't see why I can't. I understand how to grow. I understand how to get better. It's just the actual process of getting better.
Amazing. That's fantastic, man. Hey, what's your favorite moment in wheelchair rugby so far?
We talking international, recreational, or should I
Let's
give
talk international and let's talk your favorite club team moment.
favorite? I mean, okay, I'm gonna give 4 moments here. I'm gonna give 4 moments. One because I want to give personal ones for each and team
Okay.
one. I'm gonna start off international team wise. Winning in Japan, that was awesome. I
Yeah.
don't care if I played like 10 minutes. I contributed, and everyone played their hearts out. It was amazing. I've never really been part of a winning team like that one, and I mean, like you know, seeing it from the outside, it's like you know, Australia's GB, Canada, all those people are rivals, and we kind of GB gave us a really good game. They played exceptional, but we kind of kicked the crap out of Australia that tournament, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Like, yeah, I didn't know. I didn't, I was expecting a closer game, but it was amazing to win that. Um, at the club level, team wise, I think just winning a game at nationals, that was cool. Back when the starting line was
Yeah,
me,
that's big time. Getting
Mr.
to nationals again for the first time in a long time and win. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like we didn't do as well as we wanted there, but like just looking back at it, it's like we got to win. And honestly, we played close with teams that maybe we shouldn't have played close to, like NorCal. And then internationally, my favorite rugby moments probably that Phipps goal. That Phipps goal where he just pushes me from literally the 3-point line. It's like thanks for
Fip
giving me a
scores you a
speed boost,
goal.
dude. Thanks for giving me
Yeah.
a speed boost, dude. I appreciate it. I'm not that fast, but you just made me faster than like half the people on the court right now. And then
Awesome.
and then
Yeah.
actually I think this was my second ever goal in rugby.
Okay.
But my glove I didn't know how to tape properly when I was just starting up in D3. So uh, my gloves fell off
Okay.
while I was pushing and I scored and then I didn't even know how to do like call equipment, which is so I didn't even know. It's like, oh, I just thought we were just gonna go on until
That's
Until
amazing.
people
That's
until
amazing.
like someone picked them up or something, and
You,
we're like, here, let's put this back on. But
it wasn't a case that I was pushing so hard my gloves fell off. You literally didn't know how to tape for rugby because you were so new to the sport.
yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on. We're gonna wrap it up with some rapid fire questions here. One word answers, real quick. What is your favorite board game?
board game. That's tough. Ooh, there's a lot. Probably Risk.
Okay.
Risk is fun.
No, that's perfect. If you could teach one subject in school, what would it be?
History.
What's your favorite beverage?
Water.
What's your favorite birthday cake?
Oh, we have this family birthday cake with like chocolate frosting, and it's like yellow. It's like chocolate frosting and just a yellow cake. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's fantastic. What's the one thing you still have from your childhood?
I mean,
Yeah,
ooh,
that stuff. That stuffed bear.
I have a lot of stuff,
Okay.
but I guess like here's a good one. When I did have more ambulatory function when I was younger, I played baseball, and I obviously, I could barely run, so I wasn't that good at it. But I had I had more muscles than everyone else back then. So it's like I
Yeah.
hit the ball in the outfield every time. And I have a game ball still.
Oh, that's cool. That's a nice keepsake. It's cool. How long can you hold your breath for? Don't do it
Uh,
right now.
I don't know, maybe a minute.
That doesn't make for good TV. Just sitting there watching you hold your breath. A minute? Okay. What's something that you can't do?
Calculus.
Window or aisle seat?
Window.
What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
What's your favorite what music you listen to right now? What's heavy on the playlist?
Oh, it's just a lot of Kanye.
Taylor Swift? Does Taylor
What?
make it on there? Does Taylor make it on there?
That song where she's like, "You remember me" or whatever. I forget what it's called.
Well, oh, like country Taylor, like back in the day Taylor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that song's
Okay. Yeah, I like that. What's something that you will not be doing in 10 years? You will not be doing.
Calculus.
So you'll be. Calculus is big. How do you start your day?
I wake up. I give myself a 10-15 minute buffer period of just doing wake up, go on my phone, check Twitter. Then I wake up and yeah.
Best dessert ever.
Brownies.
Oh, okay. What's a city you wish to visit? Last one. City you want to visit.
Um, a really
Paris 2024 is where you want to go.
Oh, well, yeah, but I was
Okay.
thinking a really inferior city like NYC.
Okay.
I'll go, but that's another topic.
Wow. Shots fired, man. Wow. Hey, dude, thank you so much for being on. It was so much fun. Really appreciate you being on. If you want to check out more about Kevin Hamilton, check him out at K Hammy Whammy, at K Hammy Whammy. He's over on Twitter at the same thing, screaming over there on Twitter at K Hammy Whammy. And check out more about USAWR at USAWR on Instagram, at USAWCH Rugby on Twitter, and of course over at the website usawr.org. Guys, thank you so much. We'll be back next week at 11. We'll get guests every week up until mid-spring. So if you want to jump on the show, reach out to me. That would be awesome. Kevin, thank you so much. Appreciate it, man. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too, John.
Bye, everyone.
It was awesome to be on.